Number 9. The Great Clown Panic. In 2016, a strange fear swept across the world. It began in the United States when prank videos showed clowns lurking in forests, standing on roads, or chasing people at night. The clowns rarely spoke. They stared, moved suddenly, and unsettled anyone who saw them. At first, it looked like a prank, but the images struck a nerve. On social media, the scare spread quickly. Shared on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, the videos tapped into a deep fear of clowns. Painted faces and frozen smiles blurred the line between comedy and menace, and panic soon outgrew the first jokes. Reports flooded in of clowns near schools and neighborhoods. Police received thousands of calls. Parents formed watch groups. Teenagers filmed clown hunts, turning fear into entertainment. Then the panic went global. Sightings appeared in the UK, Canada, Brazil, and Australia. Some clowns were chased or arrested, even when harmless. Most threats were hoaxes, yet the fear was real. Psychologists called it mass hysteria, proof that in the digital age, one viral image can create worldwide panic. Number 8. The Salem Witch Trials. Let's go back to 1692. In Salem, a small Puritan town in Massachusetts, a few young girls began to shake, cry, and shout that invisible spirits were hurting them. When asked who did this, they pointed at neighbors. Fear spread quickly. Salem was very religious, and people believed the devil was real. Old arguments about land or family suddenly looked like proof of witchcraft. Soon, neighbors were accusing each other, and the whole town was in panic. The courts accepted something called spectral evidence. If a person said they saw your spirit hurting them in a dream, that counted as proof. With rules like that, no one was safe. More than 200 people were accused. 19 were hanged, one man was crushed with heavy stones, and others died in prison. The trials ended only when leaders realized the madness had reached powerful families. Years later, judges admitted their mistakes. Salem's story is now a warning of what happens when fear and rumor take control. Number 7. The War of the Worlds Panic. On October 30th, 1938, the night before Halloween, thousands of Americans thought the world was ending. Families gathered by their radios when a program interrupted with news of explosions on Mars, strange objects landing in New Jersey, and giant machines destroying towns. The voice was Orson Welles, only 23 years old, performing The War of the Worlds. The show was staged as news bulletins. Many listeners missed the opening line that it was fiction. They heard urgent voices, experts giving reports, and real towns under attack. To them, it felt like live coverage of an invasion. Chaos followed. Phone lines jammed as people begged police and hospitals for answers. Families packed cars, some blocking roads, while others filled churches in prayer. Newspapers later claimed millions panicked, though historians believe it was tens of thousands. It worked because radio was the most trusted medium of its time, and the world already feared war. That night proved how easily media can shape belief, turning a story into mass fear and leaving a warning still relevant today. Number 6. The Tanganyika Laughter Epidemic. In 1962, in Tanganyika, today's Tanzania, a mystery spread from one small school to an entire region. It began in a girls' boarding school near Lake Victoria, when 3 students suddenly burst into laughter. It was not light giggling, but long, unstoppable fits. Within hours, the laughter jumped to classmates, and within days, almost 100 girls were affected. Some episodes lasted minutes, others hours, and a few went on for days. The girls cried while laughing, collapsed from exhaustion, and suffered headaches and chest pain. Teachers tried to control the outbreak, but the classrooms dissolved into chaos. Finally, the school was closed, and the girls were sent home. That only carried the problem farther, as the laughter spread to nearby villages. Over the next 18 months, 14 schools shut down, and more than 1,000 people were affected. Medical tests showed no infection, no poison, and no physical cause. Modern experts believe it was mass psychogenic illness, stress and fear spreading from person to person. The laughter epidemic faded on its own, but it remains one of history's strangest reminders that the human mind can be just as contagious as any virus. Number 5. The Strawberries with Sugar Virus. In 2006, Portugal faced a strange outbreak that closed schools and frightened families. More than 300 students from 14 schools reported rashes, dizziness, and trouble breathing. Ambulances came, parents rushed in, and classrooms emptied as the country braced for a new disease. But doctors found no virus. The trigger was television. Just days earlier, a hit teen soap opera, Morangos com Açúcar, Strawberries with Sugar, had shown an episode about a deadly illness in a high school. On screen, students collapsed, and panic spread. Soon afterward, real teenagers who watched began to feel the same symptoms. Tests revealed no infection, no toxins, nothing. Experts called it mass psychogenic illness, mass hysteria. Stress and suggestion created real symptoms in healthy bodies. One student felt sick, then another, until hundreds were convinced they were infected. News coverage fueled the scare. Reports made it seem like a spreading epidemic, and more students fainted or complained of illness. The so-called strawberries with sugar virus showed how fiction can spark real outbreaks and how powerful the human mind can be. Number 4. The Satanic Panic. In the 1980s, fear swept across the United States, Canada, and Europe. Many believed secret satanic cults were everywhere, lurking in schools, daycares, and homes. Rumors claimed they kidnapped children and held dark rituals. It began with scattered stories, but soon exploded. Talk shows and books spread shocking accounts of devil worship. Some therapists fueled panic with recovered memories, often created through suggestive questions. Parents became convinced that trusted teachers and caregivers were part of a hidden cult. The most famous case was the McMartin Preschool in California. Children spoke of tunnels, witches, and ceremonies in graveyards. Investigators found no tunnels, no bodies, no evidence at all. Yet staff members endured years of trials, and their reputations were destroyed. Across North America, hundreds faced accusations. Daycares closed, families collapsed, and innocent people went to prison. Communities were poisoned by suspicion. Experts now agree it was a modern witch hunt. No proof of widespread satanic abuse was ever found. The Satanic Panic remains a warning of how fear, once unleashed, can overpower truth and ruin lives. Number 3. The 2012 Doomsday Panic. In 2012, millions around the world believed the end was near. A popular idea claimed the ancient Maya calendar ended on December 21st, and many thought that meant the end of Earth itself. Theories spread fast. Some warned of a secret planet crashing into Earth. Others feared deadly solar flares, a pole shift, or strange cosmic alignments. On the internet, countdowns appeared. Doomsday videos went viral, and even movies fueled the fear. People prepared as if the apocalypse was certain. Survival stores sold out of canned food, flashlights, and gas masks. In the U.S., families built bunkers. In France, thousands traveled to the village of Bugarak, believing its mountain would protect them. In Russia, panic was so strong that a women's prison reported mass hysteria, and supermarkets emptied of matches, candles, and sugar. When the date came, nothing happened. The sun rose, life went on. But the scare revealed something deeper: how myths, amplified by media and fear, can spread worldwide and turn a simple date into a moment of global panic. Number 2. The Slender Man myth. In 2009, a user named Victor Surge joined a contest to make spooky images. He posted a black and white photo of children on a playground, and in the background stood a tall, faceless figure in a dark suit with long arms. The caption warned of danger, and the internet soon gave him a name: Slender Man. At first, he was only fiction, but forums, YouTube videos, and indie games made him much larger. Stories described a silent figure hiding in forests and abandoned houses. Videos like Marble Hornets and the game Slender. The 8 pages made the myth feel real. Because anyone could add details, the story spread fast, shaped by thousands of people. For many teenagers, the line between fantasy and reality blurred. Slender Man was not just a character, he felt like a presence. In 2014, two 12-year-old girls in Wisconsin stabbed their friend, later telling police they wanted to serve him. The victims survived, but the case shocked the world. The Slender Man myth shows how online stories can slip into real life and create fear. Number 1. The Dancing Plague. In the summer of 1518, the streets of Strasbourg turned into a nightmare stage. A woman named Frau Trophea stepped outside and began to dance. Not for fun, not for joy, she simply could not stop. Within days, dozens joined her. Soon, nearly 400 people were moving day and night, their feet torn and bleeding. Some collapsed and never stood up again. The city leaders panicked. They believed the dancers had hot blood and thought music would cure them. So they hired drummers and fiddlers, but the music only fed the madness, pulling even more people into the endless rhythm. When that failed, the sick were dragged to churches, chained and forced to pray. Nothing worked. People at the time blamed curses, angry stars, or poisoned bread. Modern scientists think it was mass hysteria, fear and stress spreading through an entire community. The truth remains hidden. The dancing plague of 1518 is still one of the strangest mysteries in human history. If you liked these stories, hit that like button, subscribe for more strange history, and tell me in the comments which panic shocked you most.